I am Dr. Natarajan. This is my first video on Democratic People's Republic of Korea, usually known as North Korea. In this episode, I am highlighting my train journey from the Chinese capital of Beijing to the North Korean capital of Pyongyang. The distance is around 1100 kilometers and it took me more than a day to reach there. It was just like what Paul Thoreau, the great American novelist, described in his The Great Railway Bazaar. I was there in North Korea for 10 days. That was in September 2018. It was in connection with the 70th Independence Day celebration of North Korea. I will explain the geographical location of North Korea to make you understand it better. Korean Peninsula is in the northeastern part of the Asian continent. Korean Peninsula is divided into two as North Korea and South Korea. The border is in the 34th parallel around 250 kilometers. The main border of North Korea is with China. It is around 1400 kilometers. And Russia is here in the northeast part of North Korea. The border just 18 kilometers only. This is the East Sea of Korea, also called East Sea of Japan, and just across is the Japanese islands. On the western side, it is Yellow Sea. This is the borders of North Korea. This is the Chinese capital of Beijing, from where we took the train to the Chinese city of Dandong in the northeast region. From Dandong, we crossed the Yalu River to reach the Sinuiju town of North Korea. This is the detailed map of Korean Peninsula. This is North Korea and this is South Korea. We reached the town of Sinuiju from Beijing via Dandong. From Sinuiju, we took another train to reach the North Korean capital of Pyongyang. The general belief is that tourists are not allowed in North Korea. But that is not true. Around 4,000 to 6,000 tourists visit North Korea every year. And also, lot of Chinese tourists also. For Chinese tourists, the restrictions are very less. So, it is easy for them to travel around North Korea than other foreign tourists. There is a few things to be remembered before planning a trip to North Korea. Among them, the most important is to understand the fact that independent travel is not allowed in North Korea. You have to be part of a group tour. There are few tourist operators who conduct regular tours to North Korea. Most of them are based in Beijing. Though around 50 DPRK embassies and consulates are there around the world, including India, and also technically you can get a visa to North Korea from them. But it is generally a wish that is never going to materialize. Usually, the tour operator will get you the North Korean visa from their Beijing consulate. The only thing required from your part is to book a tour with them, pay them the visa fees of 50 euros, your passport copy, and a photo. 95% of the tourists to North Korea travels via China. Hence, it is mandatory that you need a double entry visa to China before embarking a journey to North Korea. Technically, you can travel to North Korea via Russia also through the small Russian border in the northeastern part of North Korea. But it's a cumbersome procedure to travel through Russia. So most of them prefer China route itself. North Korean visa is just a blue paper folded. The only thing inscribed them is your passport details and the validity. Your entry and exit from that country is not stamped in the passport. While entering North Korea, they will enter our details in their register, give the visa paper back, and while you exit the country, they take the visa paper. That's all. Before embarking the journey, your tour operator will brief you regarding the long list of don't do's in North Korea. Definitely, it is indeed a long list, and you are expected an absolute adherence to the strict code of conduct. Whichever tour operator you choose, your tour inside North Korea is handled by the Korean International Tourism Company, a government agency which controls the tourism in DPRK. Your tour program, your place of stay, what you eat, your guides, everything is decided by them. Hence, your tour operator in Beijing is just a facilitator or a middleman between you and the Korean International Tourism Company. North Korea is a country under totalitarian regime with strict and rigid rules. It is a fact to be remembered all the time while you are inside North Korea. Any violation of the rules, even a minor one, is taken very seriously, and immediate deportation or putting it behind bars is the minimum punishment. We started our journey from Beijing in a K27 overnight train to Dandong. Beijing railway station is just like a railway station anywhere in the Orient. Crowded, noisy, lot of formalities to be completed before embarking on the journey. As usual, the ticket check, luggage X-ray screening. One is directed to a waiting hall. The gates to the platform will open only few minutes before the train departure. In the train, I was provided with a heart sleeper, which is the basic unit of an overnight train. It has 3 berths on each side and facilities for hot water to make tea and noodles. Chinese trains have a full-fledged dining car, and also so many vendors operate in it selling snacks, drinks, beer and cup noodles. There is a train conductor in every compartment. At night, the train conductor collects your tickets and hand you over a card which they collect in the morning and return the tickets. We reached Dandong by 7:30 in the morning. It was summer in northeastern China and the sun is already up in the sky. The K27 train ends here and we disembark. Our next train is only starting 1.5 hours after this. So we have sufficient time to get a glimpse of the Dandong town and also the Yalu River scenic area. Yalu River is the river that separates China from North Korea. It is a long river, and except in the northeastern part where the border is by the Tumen River, which is a very small river, most of the border is the Yalu River, which is called Amnok in North Korea. About half a kilometer in front of the railway station is the Yalu scenic area. Just in front of the Dandong railway station, there is a huge statue of Mao Zedong, the chairman and the founder of the Communist Party of China. And it's a wonderful statue to take a photograph with. I just walked to the Yalu scenic area. It's just a half a kilometer across. The Yalu scenic area is thronging with Chinese tourists. You can see the North Korean town of Sinuiju on the opposite shore. There are two bridges here. One built in 1911 and another one in 1943. During the Korean War, which happened between 1950 to 53, American bombers bombed this bridge. The old bridge is called Broken Bridge and the new one is called Sino-Korean Friendship Bridge. The broken bridge, the Chinese parties repaired and maintained as such. China retains the Chinese part of the bridge as a token of the atrocities committed by the United States against the innocent civilians of China and North Korea. With a small fee, you can walk up to the middle of the bridge and have a glimpse of the North Korea across the Yalu River. The Sino-Korean bridge was constructed by the Japan Imperial Army during the occupation of Manchuria and Korean Peninsula. This is a bridge still used to transport vehicle and train from Dandong to Sinuiju. Our Chinese immigration, customs, etc. were done in Dandong train station itself. It's indeed a painful process. Unlike in airports, the immigration department here is not well versed in the foreigners' names and passports. To match them takes the snail pace. Finally, that ordeal is over and we are in the Dandong platform to take the train bound for Pyongyang. It is a number 95 train already filled with Chinese businessmen and Chinese tourists going to North Korea and also with North Koreans returning home. But we are not traveling on this train to Pyongyang. We just crossed the Yalu River to enter North Korea and get down at Sinuiju station. In Sinuiju station, where we have our passport and visas checked, customs done, then we board another train bound for Pyongyang. Before getting on the train, I called home, talked to Leta. I am deeply worried. I am not at all sure when I am going to call her again. I know my mobile won't work in North Korea. There is no phone connection or no internet for visitors. It is said that there is a highly expensive $200 SIM card from the Koryo Link, the only mobile and internet service provider in North Korea, available in certain places. But nobody is certain whether it works or not. Crossing Yalu River was just like going to Moon or Mars. My acceleration was almost the same. In the center of the river, my Apple iPhone abruptly stopped showing signals and data. Seeing my utmost despair, a Chinese tourist sitting beside me said, "Don't worry, the jammers are kept all around the place and no signals will penetrate that." Yes, I was simply cut off from the normal world I know till then. I was shocked. All my family knows about me is that I have boarded a train to North Korea. The only person who knows about my further whereabouts in North Korea is none other than ruler of that country, Kim Jong-un. The contrast between two communist ideologies are evident. Dandong with skyscrapers, neon lights, people bubbling with energy and enthusiasm is everywhere. In contrast, North Korean city of Sinuiju was drab, dreary, monotonous, and run down. No visibility of anybody in the vicinity. I am really amused. Two communist ideologies blossoming in two totally different directions. Even before entering the Sinuiju station, a few army officers stepped in and collected our visas and passports. Sinuiju looks like a very old, rundown railway station, just like any other railway station anywhere in India. The main eye catcher is a huge portrait of great leader and founder of North Korea, Kim Il Sung, and his son, the dear leader, Kim Jong Il. On either side of the portraits, there is a big red banner and white Korean letters beaming from it. Hail our great country, hail Korean Workers' Party was the slogans written them in Korean language. Suddenly I remembered my Cuban days. In Cuba also, wherever we went, there is a big photograph, big posters, big banners of Fidel Castro and Che Guevara. The only difference is that there the slogans were written in Spanish and here it is in Korean. As the train stopped at the station, we foreigners got out with our luggage. The Chinese and the North Koreans are staying inside the train. The railway platform is visibly empty except for a few shopping carts managed by young North Korean girls, and also few Korean People's Army soldiers standing here and there. The shopping carts sells local beer, soju, a local alcoholic drink, cigarettes, uh, and few North Korean souvenirs. We all bought a beer and quenched our thirst. First taste of North Korea, to say the least. Half hour elapsed, and the custom official, another KPA officer, advised us to open our bags in the platform itself. Through the gate, he asked in Korean whether we have any religious books, CDs, pornographic material, or any book published in United States or South Korea. When we affirmed negative, they had a cursory look at the bags and advised to close it. Definitely, the KPA officer was not smiling, but to my utter surprise and disbelief, they were not intimidating at all, which I was expecting totalitarian country where army is powerful to the core. They were very courteous also. There is a lot of funny things with the North Korean customs. Definitely, to them, religion is an anathema and is an opium of the people. Bringing religious materials, Holy Bible, which may be the only religious text they know, and propagating Christianity amounts to capital punishment. But on the contrary, bringing opium or keeping opium is not an offense at all. In all other countries around North Korea, keeping marijuana or opium will definitely land you in deep trouble and jail for sure. A comic twist to the religious persecution is that the mother of Kim Il sung was a Presbyterian church deaconess, a Christian sect, and also Kim Il sung was educated in a church primary school and he used to play organ in the church. Naturally, being an irreligious country, North Korea, we expect not to find any churches or temple in Pyongyang or any other towns. You are thoroughly mistaken. You are thoroughly wrong. There are two Protestant and one Catholic church in Pyongyang which conducts service regularly. Even the Chilgor Protestant church is dedicated to Kim Il sung's mother. Another twist to the story is evangelist Billy Graham visited North Korea a couple of times and the photo of him gifting a Holy Bible to Kim Jong-un was a headline and leading story around the world. An hour later, our passports and visas were returned to us after verification and we were bound to Pyongyang by the train number 6. Pyongyang is just 215 kilometers away, but the electric train will take around 6 to 7 hours to take us there. North Korean train is just like any other passenger train in India, and it is no way in comparison with the world-class trains of China. Our lunch was served in a box. First taste of Korean food, maybe due to hunger pangs, it tasted good. The scenic beauty of the train journey fascinates many. That is the reason why Many tourists love to travel to Pyongyang through this route and through this train. This is a very slow train, but the scenery on both sides of the train is magnificent. Green paddy fields ending in the mountains and villages. Green all the way. In the valleys, there is a cluster of single-story houses with tiled roofs, vegetable garden around, and the creepers climb to the rooftop. The roads around the village are just mud paths. There is a road construction going on, and the people by hand breaking big metal pieces to smaller ones, filling red mud and sand and the metal and hitting it hard to make it stay there. A sight of total disbelief. At this age of mechanization, this sort of road making is unheard of anywhere in the world. The only vehicle which is seen in these dirt roads are bicycles, bullock carts, or a lone horse-driven carriage. Once a while, a bus or army jeep passes with fumes and red dust filling the air. But the scenery is pristine. No pollution whatsoever from fumes, plastic or noise. Absolute stillness prevails everywhere. Small rivulets with water sparkling. The only eyesore in this divine environment is the propaganda posters and omnipresent and omnipotent everywhere. Big red banner with white Korean letters are placed on mountain tops, paddy fields, roadsides, and in front of public buildings. Though no passengers around, the train stops in every railway station, which has big portraits and group photos of great leader and dear leader. We are astounded by the breathtaking beauty around. Gradually, we entered into the suburban region of Pyongyang. It was dusk by then, and slowly the city was under black velvet cover. The only sight, a visual treat, was the fully lighted 105-story Pyongyang Rungyang Hotel clad in DPRK flag. The appearance of the city appeared like a power cut or a load-shedding night. Small beam of yellow lights scattered here and there. This was beyond anybody's anticipation or expectation. The great capital of North Korea, we presumed and hoped, will be dazzling with bright neon lights. We suddenly felt sad and gloomy as we entered the Pyongyang railway station. This is my first video on North Korea. In this video, I described in detail about the procedures to get a visa to North Korea and also my train journey from the Beijing, the Chinese capital, to the Pyongyang, the North Korean capital. On my next videos, I will be sharing my experiences in Pyongyang and also the neighboring towns and the less trodden northeastern part of North Korea. Hope this video was entertaining, at the same time informative. Hope to see you soon. Bye.